What if the difference between the life you have and the life you want is not a massive breakthrough? Not a sudden surge of motivation, not even a life-changing opportunity, but something almost invisible. What if the trajectory of your entire future could be shaped by actions so small they feel insignificant in the moment? Imagine two people. On day one, they are nearly identical in skill, income, health, and opportunity. One begins improving by just 1% each day. The other declines by 1% each day. For a while, there's barely any noticeable difference. Weeks pass, months pass, nothing dramatic happens. But give it a year. The gap becomes staggering. This is the central idea behind Atomic Habits by James Clear. Small habits, repeated consistently, compound into extraordinary results. And more importantly, your habits are not just actions. They are votes for the type of person you are becoming. Over the next moment, we're going to deeply explore the frameworks, psychology, and philosophy behind Atomic Habits. Not just what the book says, but what it truly means. We'll unpack the mechanics of behavior change, the hidden power of identity, the 4 laws that govern habit formation, the role of environment, the danger of goals, and the compounding effect of tiny improvements. By the end, you won't just understand habits differently. You'll understand yourself differently. Let's begin with the foundation. James Clear didn't start as a productivity expert. In high school, he suffered a traumatic baseball injury that nearly derailed his athletic future. Recovery was slow and frustrating. There was no dramatic comeback moment, no overnight transformation. Just small, incremental improvements, one tiny gain at a time. And that experience shaped his philosophy. Atomic Habits addresses a problem almost everyone faces. We know what we should do, but we struggle to do it consistently. We set goals, we get motivated, we burn out, we relapse into old patterns, then we blame ourselves. Clear argues that the problem isn't you, it's your system. Most people focus on goals, but goals are outcomes. Habits are processes, and it's the process that determines success. This is one of the book's boldest claims. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. That statement reframes everything. If 2 teams have the same goal of winning a championship, what separates the winner? Not the goal. The system of training, feedback, preparation, and culture. If 2 people want to lose weight, what separates the one who succeeds from the one who regains it? Not the desire. The daily systems of eating, movement, and environment. Goals are good for setting direction, but systems are what create progress. And this leads to one of the most profound ideas in the book. Habits compound. Just like money earns compound interest, habits compound over time. One good decision won't change your life. One bad decision won't ruin it. But repeated daily, these decisions accumulate. Clear uses the metaphor of an ice cube in a cold room. The temperature slowly rises from 25 degrees to 26, to 27, to 31 degrees. Nothing happens. Then, at 32 degrees, the ice melts. The breakthrough moment looks sudden, but it was the result of gradual warming. This explains why habits often feel unrewarding in the beginning. You're in what Clear calls the valley of disappointment. You're putting in effort, but results haven't shown up yet. The key is understanding that progress is not linear. It's delayed. It's compounding. Now here's where Atomic Habits becomes deeper than typical self-help advice. Most habit advice focuses on behavior change, but Clear argues that lasting change is identity change. He describes 3 layers of behavior change. The outer layer is outcomes, what you get. The middle layer is processes, what you do. The inner layer is identity, what you believe. Most people start from the outside in. I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to write a book. I want to run a marathon. But sustainable change happens from the inside out. Instead of saying, I want to write a book, you say, I am becoming a writer. Every small action then becomes a vote for that identity. When you write 1 paragraph, you cast a vote for being a writer. When you go to the gym, you cast a vote for being an athlete. When you read instead of scrolling, you cast a vote for being a learner. No single vote defines you. But over time, the evidence builds. This is powerful because identity drives behavior. If you believe you are not a disciplined person, you will subconsciously sabotage disciplined actions. If you believe you are a healthy person, you will feel internal resistance when acting against that identity. Habits are the mechanism through which identity is constructed. Now, how do habits actually form? Clear introduces a four-step loop: cue, craving, response, and reward. Every habit follows this neurological pattern. The cue is the trigger. The craving is the desire. The response is the action. The reward is the benefit that reinforces the behavior. For example, your phone buzzes. That's the cue. You feel curiosity or anticipation. That's the craving. You check the notification. That's the response. You feel socially connected or stimulated. That's the reward. This loop becomes encoded in your brain, and over time, it runs automatically. From this loop, Clear builds the 4 laws of behavior change. To build a good habit, make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, make it satisfying. To break a bad habit, invert these. Make it invisible, make it unattractive, make it difficult, make it unsatisfying. Let's explore each deeply. First law, make it obvious. Most habits operate unconsciously, so the first step is awareness. Clear suggests something called a habit scorecard. You write down your daily behaviors and simply label them as positive, negative, or neutral. This reveals patterns you didn't notice. But awareness alone isn't enough. You need clear cues. One powerful strategy is implementation intention. Instead of vaguely saying, "I'll exercise more," you say, "I will exercise at 7 a.m. in the living room." Specificity reduces ambiguity. Ambiguity kills habits. Another strategy is habit stacking. You attach a new habit to an existing one. After I brush my teeth, I will floss. After I pour my morning coffee, I will read 1 page. You piggyback new behaviors onto established routines. But perhaps the most underestimated factor is environment. Clear argues that environment is the invisible hand shaping human behavior. If healthy food is visible and junk food is hidden, you eat better. If your guitar is on a stand in the middle of the room, you practice more. If your phone is in another room, you focus better. We often think discipline is about willpower, but willpower is unreliable. Environment design is powerful. The second law, make it attractive. Habits are driven by dopamine, the anticipation of reward. The more attractive an action feels, the more likely you are to perform it. One technique is temptation bundling. Pair something you need to do with something you want to do. Only listen to your favorite podcast while exercising. Only watch your favorite show while folding laundry. You're conditioning your brain to associate pleasure with productive behavior. Social environment matters too. We imitate the habits of 3 groups: the close, the many, and the powerful. If your friends value fitness, you're more likely to value fitness. If your workplace culture values punctuality, you become punctual. Behavior that's normal in your tribe becomes attractive. The third law, make it easy. This is where Atomic Habits truly challenges traditional self-improvement advice. Success isn't about intensity, it's about consistency. Clear introduces the 2-minute rule. When starting a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes. Instead of read 30 minutes, start with read 1 page. Instead of run 5 kilometers, start with put on running shoes. The goal isn't the action, it's the habit of showing up. He also emphasizes reducing friction. If you want to practice guitar, place it in the center of the room. If you want to stop watching TV, unplug it after each use. We don't rise to our intentions. We fall to the level of friction. Repetition, not time, builds habits. The more reps you do, the stronger the neural pathway becomes. The fourth law, make it satisfying. Humans are wired to repeat behaviors that feel immediately rewarding. The problem is that many good habits have delayed rewards. Exercise hurts now, but helps later. Saving money feels restrictive now, but benefits later. Bad habits often give immediate rewards, but long-term pain. So you must engineer immediate satisfaction into good habits. Track your habits. Watching a streak grow feels satisfying. Use reinforcement. After finishing a workout, allow a small reward. Use accountability. Knowing someone is watching increases follow-through. Clear also introduces the idea of a habit contract, a formal agreement where you define consequences if you fail. Immediate consequences increase adherence. But here's a deeper insight. Habit tracking works not because of the checkmark, but because it reinforces identity. Each completed habit says, "This is who I am." Now, as habits become automatic, there's a risk. Plateau. Clear explains the plateau of latent potential. Results lag behind effort. But after mastery, improvement slows. To avoid stagnation, he introduces deliberate practice and reflection. You must review, refine, and push slightly beyond comfort. He also warns about the danger of identity becoming rigid. If you cling too tightly to one identity, "I'm the disciplined one," you may resist evolution. The solution is flexible identity. Focus on principles, not labels. Now, let's step back. Atomic Habits isn't just a productivity book. It's a philosophy of incremental transformation. It challenges the cultural obsession with dramatic change. We celebrate radical reinvention, overnight success, viral breakthroughs. But real transformation is quiet. It's built in repetition. The deeper psychological message is this: you are not defined by what you achieve. You are defined by what you repeatedly do. Your habits are the architecture of your identity. There is humility in this message. It says you don't need massive motivation. You don't need to feel inspired every day. You just need small, repeatable actions. But there are limitations. Habits alone cannot solve structural inequality or severe psychological barriers. Some situations require therapy, community, or systemic change. Also, excessive optimization can lead to rigidity. Atomic Habits works best when applied with self-compassion. Now, let's close with reflection. Imagine yourself 5 years from now. Not a dramatic reinvention, not a lottery win, not a miracle breakthrough. Just small improvements repeated daily. One extra page read. One healthier meal. One focused hour. One avoided distraction. One kept promise to yourself. What would that version of you look like? Now, imagine the opposite. Small neglect, repeated daily. The difference between these futures is not one big decision. It's today's tiny habit. Atomic Habits teaches us that greatness is not born from intensity. It is born from consistency. Your life is not shaped in moments of inspiration. It is shaped in moments of repetition. And every small action you take today is casting a vote. The question is simple. Who are you voting to become? Because in the end, success is not about achieving one massive goal. It's about becoming the type of person for whom those goals are inevitable. And that transformation begins, not tomorrow, but with the smallest action you choose to repeat today.